building. We sound crazy.
That's the vibes this week.
That's the vibes. I like these vibes.
That take me back, bro.
Yeah, that's dope.
Man. Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy. Phillionaire is in the building.
Claude Kelly is absolutely in the building.
Chuck Harmony is in the building.
Man, we used to be 4 members of Boys to Men. There's only 3.
Yeah, it's an empty space over there.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know, we added a new member. We on our Drew Hill right now.
We're on Drew Hill. We added members back.
Added members and these new members. We're going to figure it out.
But we have something special in place of Bacon for Making, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got a Grammy winner, multiple Grammy winner.
Multiple.
Co-owner and founder of Reach Records.
Reach.
A distinguished member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, my frat brother. Shout out to the bros, yo to the bros. This brother sold millions of records. Millions. Millions. And over like 1 billion streams, like a bunch of like big numbers and stuff. Also, New York Times best-selling author. It's a lot of receipts there.
I was going to say it's a lot of receipts.
Make some noise. Lecrae is in the building this week.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Yeah, man.
What's up, man? Glad to be here.
Welcome back to Nashville.
Yeah, it's my favorite place in the world.
We just talking about that, okay?
Yeah. The White Atlanta.
The White Atlanta.
That's why Charlemagne calls that as well. He said this is the White Atlanta.
That should be the title of this episode.
The White Atlanta.
Oh, man, how you been, man?
I've been good, man. I've been good. It's good to see regular shoes. I've been on Broadway looking at boots all day long. So
you've been cowboy boots out there over there.
Yeah, man. So no, it's good, man. Everything's good. Everything's lovely on the road, and just had to stop by and show some love.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That reminds me that one thing Nashville needs is some more cool sneaker stores.
Please.
Ooh, really, if you're out there and you're listening. Flight Club.
Yeah, facts.
Anything, like...
Yeah. Come on to Nashville.
We Sound Crazy should start a sneaker store in Nashville. Because we probably make a lot of money.
Y'all would. Y'all would kill.
That's a good business.
It's actually a good business.
Put it over there by TSU or Fisk.
That's what I'm saying.
Get Lecrae to fund it since he got all these millions.
I saw all these plaques when I walked in this room. I mean, when I walked into the Get Out Mansion, I saw the plaques on the wall.
The Get Out Mansion.
Get Out Mansion.
I'll play.
Oh, man. Yeah, man.
We'll discuss the business off camera later, but we'll talk about that sneaker store. That's a good idea.
All right.
But real talk, it's good to have you here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So speaking of numbers, did you reach that million mark on YouTube?
I did.
Subscribers.
I hit 1 million subscribers, man. I don't know what that means exactly, but I did.
It's something.
You know what I'm saying? I'm old school. The kids like the clout. I like the money. I don't know what it means exactly, but it's great. They can send me a plaque and everything.
Right.
That's awesome.
Man. Yeah.
And that was strictly independent, right?
Yeah, independent.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah, man. Just launched it, just trying to, show a different side of myself and different aspect of who I was, and people gravitated to it. You know, some silly stuff, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Some funny stuff, and then just some serious stuff, and just, man, talk about whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That independent thing you were talking about, though, because I feel like now independent is such a cool word. Like, it's become this thing where, like, it becomes part of your cool story. Mm-hmm. But really talk about how hard it is to be independent. Let's keep it real. Like, how's that journey been for you?
I always hear, like, when I watch Drink Champs, Nori's always asking people, like, independent or major, and he's always like, major. And I get it if you came up in that system. You know what I'm saying? I think because it's hard, like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be the A&R, the video director, the accountant, the bookkeeper, the tour manager, the merch manager. Yep. You know, you gotta really, and you gotta find people who can do those jobs well if you're not doing those jobs. So, you know, it's a lot of infrastructure you gotta come up with, and you learning on the fly. So, you know what I'm saying? I remember just trying to learn how to do everything, and you have to go to school for everything. You working in the business, then you working on the business, then you working in the business, then you working on the business. So, you know, you really have to be built for that. You know what I'm saying? And if you're just the artist, then I would say don't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're the artist, then go major.
Yeah. If you like the quintessential artist, you just want to be creative, then you need a sponsor.
Yeah. A corporate sponsor. It's important advice though, because I think people think that it's just this cool rebellious path, but the hard work that goes into the brain power, the continued learning, right?
Man.
Like and the constant reinvesting in yourself.
Yeah.
Boy, that part.
Yeah.
That's that part for real. Because then you got to look at the return on investment, and is this working, and is this not working? You know what I'm saying? And so that's a whole nother ball game of just, you know, where you gonna put your money. You know, I remember when I made my first album, I didn't take the royalties. I put the royalties into my next artist album, so I could get stuff off the ground. So it's just that type of mindset that I took a bet. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I could have put some rims on the Suburban, man,
but instead I invested in that album. It did pay off. It did pay off. It did pay off.
Yeah, for sure.
You see, I feel got kind of quiet when we start talking about independent.
I love independent. I love independent and major. I think there's value and pros and cons to both.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
There's pros and cons. And Crae, I know you for a while, like for one project, you partnered with Colombia.
I did.
How was that experience compared to what you traditionally knew? Like,
right.
Because that's a big major. That's one of the biggest labels in the world.
Yeah. I think, you know, there was some things that I would have never been able to do that Colombia was able to do, right? Obviously, radio was a very essential aspect of the music industry at that point in time. And I wouldn't have been able to make the type of investment in radio that Colombia was able to make. Not saying it was a financial investment, just saying the investment in radio. But just saying, like, radio is a different world. It's a different industry all in of itself. So, you know, Colombia was able to get involved in that aspect of the game and make some stuff happen over there. Of course, just the networks, right? Like, that's really what a lot of the major labels have. They have those networks where at the snap of a finger, they can connect the dots to somebody else. And, oh, I know so-and-so. And we, you know, it's like you DMing, you know, whoever artist to get on the track, and it's like just a phone call away from their A&R or somebody along those lines. So you just got that access and that network. And so it was good from that sense of just being able to have access and networks. And my team, it was kind of like that was graduate school for my team. They was getting a master's education in the major label side of things.
Watching how they do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They was getting a master's education on the major label side of things. So they was able to be a little sharper. The downside, I would say, is that it's such a big system they cannot turn on a dime. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So whereas a smaller team...
That's a key point.
Yeah.
It's a long lead up. It's a long jetway.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? To take off.
Yep.
And it takes time to the whole thing takes a lot more calendaring and time, and that's not a bad thing. It just you have to understand that going into it. That like you're not gonna come in there and then 2 days later all the dreams come true because they have the money to do it.
Right.
Then you have to. There's lots of teams and departments and people that have to all be working in one accord.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. So you know you just got to know that you want to be scrappy and get out there and do some quick stuff. That's not the
and pivot quick.
Yeah, it's not. It's a different model. But you know, things are changing. I think major labels got to adapt to the way things are now. So, you know.
Do you feel like radio is as important as it was when you linked up with major? Do you feel like it has the same importance?
I don't think so. I think radio is not dead, but it's not. It doesn't. I mean, 5 years ago, it was way more important than it is now. You know what I'm saying? I would say TikTok is like transcended what radio was back in the day. It's like if you don't have a social media campaign, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying, as far as your song is concerned. So I wouldn't say it's dead. I say there's still a lot of listeners, you know, that listen to the radio, but at the same time, people are using DSPs, digital service providers, Spotify, Apple, whatever, to explore. You know what I'm saying? So those playlists are very valuable. And then on top of that, you got social media, which is like, that's how kids are discovering new music every day. So it's a new ball game. It's changing rapidly.
It's changing.
Yeah.
We sound crazy.
Just hold on and I'll find you.
I'm hanging on by a thread, and all I'm clinging to is prayers. And every breath is like a battle. I feel like I ain't come prepared.
I'll Find You. Featuring Tori Kelly with our special guest this week, Lecrae.
Yeah.
Man, you killed that. I saw you recently with Breland at the Ryman.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get my country on a little bit. So.
I'm going through, no one trying to play with my soul. I'm just trying to find where to go. I'm trying to remember the way. I'm trying to get back to my home, but I can't do this on my own. That's why I'm just trusting in you, because I don't know where else to go, and I don't know what else to do. Yeah. Just fight a little longer, my friend. You gotta fight. It's all worth it in the end. It's worth it. When you got nobody to turn to, just hold on and I'll find you. Just fight a little longer, my friend. It's worth it. It's all worth it in the end. When you got nobody to turn to, just hold on. I'll find you. 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 Just hold on.
I'm building some bridges. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, building some bridges.
And Brilliant is a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
He was a guest on the podcast. We have a song coming out with him in a couple weeks.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Brilliant is a breath of fresh air.
He's talented, man.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
he's so talented. That dude is cold at everything.
Yeah.
You've worked with a lot of people as far as collaborations is concerned.
Yeah.
Is it one that sticks out?
People always, like, I've worked with, De La Soul, Shaka Khan, freaking, BLB, Big Crit. I don't know. So, but to me, it may be because I spent so much of my youth on the West Coast, but Ty Dolla $ign was like that was big for me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not like, it's
I
Ty
love
Dolla
Ty,
$ign.
man.
He's cold, man.
You know,
that Free TC album is,
You know my song. You know I love Horses in the Stable.
Horses in the Stable. Yeah.
That's my joint right there.
He cold, man. He ratchet as all get out, but he cold.
His tone is crazy.
And the thing is,
bro.
he can sing better than most R&B dudes.
Yeah.
Like, he can sing.
Yes. So I was a dope moment just to be able to, he heard the record and was like, man, I want to do a whole verse. I said, by all means, my brother. By all means. You know what I'm saying?
Clear some space in the record.
Yeah,
Get on there.
feel free.
Yeah.
So that was a vibe, man. I caught a lot of flack for that, but
Did you?
Yeah, because people was like, oh man, you Ty Dolla $ign, listen to this music, and I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but that's not what our song is talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Let's talk about that though. I guess I'm sort of surprised you're still getting flack for that kind of stuff. Like I feel like we had evolved past that point, especially as it pertains to hip hop.
Yeah.
And how that converges with the church, right?
yeah.
But is that still an obstacle for you?
I don't know. I think I don't care as much. So it might be an obstacle. I don't care like I used to. You know what I'm saying? Because I get it from the standpoint of like, I'm from the culture of hip hop. That's what I grew up in.
Yeah.
So I always understood that this culture that started in New York, and it was kind of side-eyeing the South initially, and the South and the church are like intrinsically locked.
Yeah.
So for me it was like, I'm born in Houston, Texas. I live in Atlanta. It's like, my faith is an intrinsic part of who I am, but I think because it was this like culture, this East Coast, it's the earth and the gods, the 5% of the science of everything. It was like that churchy stuff is antiquated. It's like it's old school, and so there was a bit of a button heads initially, and then church people, of course, they don't know what to do with hip hop because a lot of folks, it's the music they wasn't allowed to listen to growing up in church. So. It ain't an issue now, but it was an issue for me for sure coming up because I was like bending genres. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And first of all, bending genres always makes you have to work a little harder, but it's interesting that 'cause I feel like all the genres have evolved at this point into something that they weren't 20 years. All of them,
for sure.
all of them are unrecognizable.
Facts.
So it's not like it's solely gospel music, right?
Yeah.
And Crae, I wanted to. How do you define hip hop? Do you consider yourself a Christian hip hop artist? CHH, is that how you describe?
Here we go with this.
CHH?
That's what they
Christian
call it.
I've never heard that
Christian
before.
hip-hop, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think Christian hip hop is a genre because there's not enough infrastructure. I think there are Christians who do hip hop, just like there's no Muslim hip hop, there's no 5%er hip hop, but there's Lupe's a Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of like there's no atheist hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So I get why people like categories because it helps people get a distinguishing mark of like what am I gonna be listening to. But I would say the uniqueness about me is that I am part of hip hop culture first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I'm not just the church kid trying to rap. I'm like, nah, I was bred in this. You know what I mean? Like, it's a part of my ethos.
Yeah.
I had a spiritual transition where I decided to talk about my faith in my music. But I think if you want to call yourself a gospel rapper, cool. If you want to be a Christian rapper, cool. You want to be a Christian that raps, cool. Whatever. People gonna put you in the category regardless. They're gonna call Beyonce R&B if she does a dance record. That's just what it is. You know, Prince gonna be R&B no matter. It's just, you know, we got these categories for whatever reason. For me, I hold myself to the same standard that, you know, Jay-Z or Drake or Kendrick is gonna hold themselves to. So I want the music to be dope and to be great. And I'm not just trying to like shove a message in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to speak from an authentic place.
I'm glad you cleared that up because that's actually it changes the perspective of how people receive it. Because I think there's a stigma because the thing is the church by maybe not by definition but by perception is rigid. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And hip hop is rebellious. So there's a part of like, well, where does oil and water mix? They don't, right? Yeah. So for you to explain like the core of why you do your music makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Now that everyone knows how you eat, sleep, breathe hip hop, it's part of who you are.
Yeah.
What's your report card on where hip hop is right now?
I think you got to look at it from the standpoint of that hip hop has umbrellaed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not one of them old heads who like, man, what happened to the boom bap and the lyricism? You know what I'm saying?
Sounding like Chuck Harmony over there.
Oh, man.
Nah, it just umbrellaed, man. It had the umbrella, and there's a lot of things that fit under that umbrella. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to think, hip-hop, it used to have these distinguishing cultural marks. It doesn't have that anymore. Everything's hip-hop now. It's everywhere. Like, you can't pimp. It used to be the baggy clothes, a certain style of dress, the way it's not. Sprite commercials are hip hop. Like Old Navy got hip hop, and it's just a part of pop culture now. So it's not like this distinguishing thing you can point out like you used to be able to. So now you just gotta embrace the fact that, you know, Post Malone or Yeet or Lil Uzi or whoever are just as much hip hop as J. Cole and Joey Badass. Like you gotta just embrace the reality that that's all hip hop. It's just an umbrella. Like there's subgenres almost underneath the genre of hip hop.
That's a good way to look at it.
That's a good way to look at it. I also kind of feel like one of the big shifts was that hip hop, in my mind, used to be region by region, and they take their turns. So New York had its time, and then it releases to LA, and then the South again, and then the Midwest, and then that was almost what defined it. And now, if you're really doing your homework, you know where people come from. But it's not like
it don't matter.
A city's running the game for 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a decade. It's just international, global hip hop. If you got enough equipment and you have some skill, you too can be a part of this. You ain't got to be from New York. You ain't got to prove you grew up on the street on a certain block in that neighborhood.
And now you can't even tell, like, especially with hip hop. It's so international. You can hardly tell where people
are from.
I didn't know Roddy Ricch was from the West Coast for the longest time.
Right.
So it was like,
Lil Uzi Vert, he's from Philadelphia, right? That's crazy.
I didn't know Meek was from Philly either.
He sounded a little Philly.
He sounded like, I'm a New Yorker, and he sounded like he was from New York. I was convinced.
Okay.
He just has a very New York approach to how he hits the records, but it's like, you have to actually care and Google to find out where people are from. And then once they get a certain level of success, and the world takes on, it really doesn't matter anymore to anyone. It's just whoever's a star. But it's interesting to hear how you think it's changed, because everyone has an opinion. It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop this year, right? And everyone's talking about it, so.
I came from that. I came from that regionalized type of environment, and it was hard for somebody like myself, because you got to think, like you said, it started in New York. Then New York started infighting, and it was like, oh, y'all want to fight against each other? Cool. The West Coast just going to come over and dominate. The West Coast was cool with the South.
He got his Death Row shirt on.
So shout out to Death Row. You know what I'm saying? And then the South said, oh, well, since the West Coast is running the game and they cool with us, then the West Coast let them come through and do their thing. And then you got somebody like me who First of all, I've lived in the South. I've lived in the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? But I'm heavily influenced by East Coast hip hop as well. And then I'm Christian. So there's like, people didn't know what to do with me. It was like, we don't even, I remember I did the BET Cypher. They put me in an international Cypher. I'm in there with Estelle and whatnot. No, shout out to Estelle, you know, that's the homie. But it just was like, they didn't know where to put me and what to do with me. So it was actually beneficial for me because it made me stand out even more. And, you know, it was kind of like a validating moment. Like when you see Royce the 5'9" tweeting like, man, this kid is dope. It's like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, so, but yeah, it's like that's, when I think about hip hop, I think about it, you know, hip hop has, the earlier generations of hip hop became gatekeepers instead of like, the rebelliousness that it started off as, like, hey man, you know, Rage Against the Machine, we're free, we should, turned into like, no, you gotta do it this way, or this way. And it's like, dang, what happened?
But you said it earlier, which is interesting, it was that like New York hip hop almost looked down on the South. That's definitely how we were raised. It was almost like the whole culture was like, we made it up, but also you know, there's always that East, that North versus South thing. They teach that in schools. Right? So my education was very much that the South was slower and not as educated and all that kind of stuff, which is totally a lie. Right? So I would venture to say that nobody, and I stand on this, nobody in the East Coast and up north saw the value of Southern hip hop. And even predicted it would be as influential and probably as long lasting, probably now the most long lasting, long lasting, and making the most bread, right? But I think because of that close-mindedness, they didn't really embrace it and didn't see it coming. Because literally, I mean, besides growing up in New York, besides Outkast, they didn't want to hear it.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's crazy. There was some music going on.
I know. I had to play catch up.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even getting played on the radio. So you didn't know what that existed besides, you get LA, you get New York, and surrounding New York. But it wasn't a whole lot until by the time it was forced. Like you couldn't help it no more. I mean, at some point you're talking about like, at this point now, everyone's coming from literally, don't get crazy here, but from VA down, like but from that point on, it's like you can't really, and even like I said right now, if being honest, it's like, it's probably been the most long-lasting, most lucrative.
Yeah, big facts. I mean, you got to think about the fact of Andre 3000's in my top 5. So people sleep on that. And then, you know, it's the Southern influence. And then people, I mean, just in general, like people just, there's so many silos. Like people sleep on these places and spaces. Like they slept on, like, what you know, it's like a Christian rapping.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, millions of dollars in sales and albums later, it's like clearly there was a market. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like you got to keep an open mind. You got to have your head ready to receive all the different stuff that's out there.
We sound crazy.
You mentioned Andre 3000 being in your top 5, but we actually want to talk about your Mount Rushmore of hip hop, which is 4 slots.
Yeah. Yes.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of hip hop?
Mount Rushmore. Sheesh. I'm definitely putting 3 Stacks in there, and I'm putting Jay-Z in there. I'm putting Tupac in there. And then
I know it gets tricky. That 4th spot.
This is gonna be controversial. But I'm putting Future in there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm putting Future in there. Because you wouldn't have what we have right now, Future. Future is
a
plot twist.
You wouldn't have what we have. The current state of hip-hop does not. I mean, you could interchange Lil Wayne or Future. Yeah. You could interchange Wayne or Future.
Okay.
I think Wayne is like definitely, probably Wayne over Future, I guess, because Wayne really did pioneer a lot of what we see right now.
Agreed.
Like, they don't know they Wayne's grandkids. But Future took it to another level. So maybe Wayne. I'll say Wayne. So I'm going to go 3 Stacks, Jay, Pac, and Wayne.
Honorable mention Future.
Honorable mention Future.
Yeah, I like including him because that's actually a really smart opinion about that.
Yeah.
Do you remember your very first experience with hip hop?
Of course.
He's like, what you talking about?
Of course. My cousins, I was 6 years old. My cousins were sneaking and watching Yo MTV Raps. They weren't sneaking, I was supposed to be asleep, because, back in the day, it came on late at night. So I got up, and I saw the rap videos, and I saw this world, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I used to just lay on the floor and watch rap videos with them every night. And then eventually they caught me, and they was like, come on, man, you could watch it with us. So I was consuming it all. EPMD, Rakim, Boogie Down Productions, Nas. I was consuming it all. You know what I'm saying? So just as a little kid, and then it just graduated, and it kept going.
Is it one song that sticks out the most in that period?
Microphone Fiend. Because I saw the little kid, and I could relate to him. He was in the music videos. Boom, boom, psh, psh, psh,
That's crazy.
and I was like, I saw myself. You know what I'm saying? I see another kid, and the microphone fiend, and I was like, that's hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Phil, what's your first hip hop memory? Like, so what song comes to mind when you think of like earliest hip hop days?
2 Live Crew.
He knows me well. Very first, I'm going back to probably, man. It takes you back. I'm trying to think of the very, very first. I'm thinking, because my mom used to play music throughout, and the radio would be on. But I remember early on, like, and one of my cousins, like, she used to love, like, hip-hop early. So it's in that Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, in that pocket. A lot of Rakim. But Big Daddy Kane is who I remember going to elementary school. And my homeboy, Dion Chavis, shout out to Dion if you listening or watching. He was, like, the connoisseur of music, like, in 2nd grade. Like, literally. He'd be like, yo, I got this new cassette. I'm like,
Everyone got that one person in their hood.
But he's a DJ now in Raleigh, North Carolina.
That makes sense.
But yeah, Kane. I would probably say Kane. So that all was in that same era, and then watching Yo and MTV Raps. But Kane is one of the first memories. So that's why even talking with him and having his number now, I'm like, man, I'm talking to Big Daddy Kane. This is like,
that's actually
slight flex.
That's actually kind of legendary.
Yeah, but so yeah, I think Kane and Kane and Salt and Pepper though. Because I remember like hearing Tramp and Pusha was on that album, the Hot, Cool, and Vicious album. But I remember that and Kid and Play because it was fun and they didn't cuss, and so it was like, my mom's like, oh yeah, listen to that, they don't curse, you know what I mean? Like, so it was kind of friendly, and they sampled up
a little. It was PG.
It was PG, you know what I'm saying? But Kane was who I was like, yeah. And then Rakim, and then I got onto my Public Enemy, and in the later years, and that was,
man, that bring me back.
Yeah.
What about you, Chuck? What you got?
Probably Will Smith's Parents Just Don't Understand.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
I was a Christian kid, so.
that was a music video.
For me, it's probably Round the Way Girl, LL Cool J.
Oh, yeah.
I remember hearing that. It felt like New York summer, and it felt like all the girls in New York at that time.
Yeah. That had to be crazy to experience that, like walk outside.
We were just talking about that. I was just like, I didn't realize it about how influential it was being inside of it.
Yeah.
But I do know that like a lot of stuff that is now iconic. Yeah. Videos and venues and stuff, like that was just my neighborhood.
That's crazy.
And so we were dreaming about that.
Yeah. I was telling Phil that with the theater they shot the Killing Me Softly video for the Fugees was like, it's on 23rd Street and Park Avenue. It's like a 5-minute walk from where I grew up. Yeah. And so we all knew when like they were doing album release parties for 112 or Biggie or TLC or Mary, and we would just all try to sneak in high school just because it was happening just in the hood. It was happening all around.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And now it's all worldwide.
It's crazy. Global phenomenon. Top 5 hip hop albums.
Yes. Good question.
All time. Top 5. If we had to delete all but 5 albums off of your phone.
Right.
Android or iPhone, I don't know what you have.
All right. Top 5. I'm going with, for me, that's tough. All right, I'm going Aquemini by Outkast. That was a special one for me. It may not be everybody's favorite, but Aquemini by Outkast. I'm going to Black Album by Jay. I'll take the Black Album over the Blueprint. I know that that's an ongoing debate. I'm taking Doggy Style by Snoop.
That's a good one. Death Row.
I'm taking Good Kid, Mad City.
Wow.
By Kendrick. And let me think. That last one gotta be. what has influenced me heavily? I probably would say, I mean, if we just talking about my formative years that influenced me, then I'm gonna say All Eyes on Me by Pac as well. So those would be my top 5. So All Eyes on Me, Outkast, Aquemini, Jay-Z's Black Album, Doggy Style, and Good Kid, Mad City. Yeah, them is the ones.
Strong top 5.
That's a strong top 5.
Them is the ones.
Good Lord.
Yeah, Good Kid is, man, that was a crazy situation. It was powerful.
You can't even question that top 5.
You can't. I'm literally saying try to dissect.
You can't poke holes in that at all. You can't poke holes in that at all. Don't even try.
Hey, man. Listen, man.
So what's next? I mean, because at the top, Phil read off some insane receipts of things that I think many people dream for. But what's next for you?
I mean, man, I didn't checked off the bucket list, man. I'm not one of them artists that's like, you know, I feel like everybody climbs the top of the mountain or is striving to get to the top. Mm-hmm. And then when they get there, then they just fighting to stay there. Mm. And I'm like, that's insanity. Like you have to evolve. Mm-hmm. You gotta learn how to make the most out of the circumstance. So for me, I've had the #1 album in the country. I've had Grammys. I mean, I done touched the top of the mountain. I've met my heroes in the music industry. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, what can I do for the next generation? What can I do for the next wave of individuals coming up? I feel sad for artists when they be trying to hang on too long, and it's like, bro, you need to let it go. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like LeBron, like, I'm just hanging around for Bronny to get here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to prove to y'all. I'm just hanging around for Bronny to get here. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, you know, waiting for the Bronnies to get there and help them.
That's cool.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
In one of your raps, you said, Vince Bantu on my shelf. I read different.
Yeah.
I had to Google who that was, but I want you to explain what that means.
Okay, you dig what I'm saying. All right, so really what it is for me is like, I got to give you some backstory.
Okay.
So my mom grew up in church. She was like a part of a serious religious sect, and she rebelled against it because it was too strict. Mm-hmm. She couldn't wear pants, lipstick, none of stuff like that. So then she didn't impose church or Christian faith on me. She said, be a free thinker, explore, and I explored. You know what I'm saying? And I sought enlightenment and looked around, and then I landed my plane with the Christian faith. But she was also raised by the Black Panthers as well, so she was very pro-Black. So she was like, yo, you know, I appreciate the fact that you like moving in the direction of Jesus and whatnot, but you know, you were around a lot of these white Christians, and how are they influencing you? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I really didn't think much of it. I was like, yeah, Jesus is Jesus. What are you talking about? What's the big deal? But I didn't realize when you do your history and your research that, and now I get it. Like, a lot of people, especially in the Black community, are opposed to Christianity because they look at it like the slave master's religion. And when I started reading like Ta-Nehisi Coates and James Baldwin and stuff, I was like, man, I'm not trying to, overlook my culture and my people. You know what I'm saying? So I had a crisis of faith. But it took people like Vince Bantu, who takes you, like he's doing a trip to Sudan, who's showing people like the Christian faith didn't start with these Europeans in America. It's an Eastern faith that made its way to Ethiopia, Sudan, and it was even all the way to Japan and Asia. It's just that the people who were doing the writing, you know, when you write the narrative, when you're writing the history books, you control the narrative.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So the European culture was writing the history books, so they was controlling the narrative. And Bantu just helped me see that it's way more ancient, it's way more deeper, it's way more global, and it's not, you know, Republican, conservative, European. It's not these boxes that everybody wants to check off. So
that's great. That's really, really valuable information.
Oh yeah.
I think it's important that no matter what your faith is, you have to do your homework.
Do your homework.
Got to.
And then the reading part is so key, because I find that, like, obviously the base of Christianity is built off one very important book, right? Mm-hmm. But besides the Bible, it's important for you to read other things so that you can learn, challenge your faith, figure out how you feel about things that have happened in history and could repeat themselves and where you fit in all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's about doing history work, spiritual work, scientific work.
Yeah.
All that stuff matters.
Yeah, man.
And it
facts.
strengthens your faith if it all ends in the same place, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's still a whole lot that can't be explained.
Right. Facts. And that's
where
cool.
faith comes in. Like, there's still a point. Scientists will tell you there's a point where, like, I ain't got no more answers.
No answers for you.
For right here.
Yeah.
So
no answers. So, yeah. So that was really important for me, man, because I was in a weird space. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I come from. You know, I like a lot of people get to the music industry, especially church kids, and they feel like, I've never seen any of this before, and they go crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was already crazy. I lived a crazy life before I started walking with God. So I wasn't feeling like I was missing anything. You know what I'm saying? I was a star on the yard, baby. I was Kappa Alpha Psi. You know what I'm saying? I was a star on the yard. So I didn't feel like, you know, I hadn't experienced all the wild stuff out there. It's just that when you hit a certain level, you feel like, man, I got more money than I've ever had. I got more access than I've ever had. I got these R&B shawties over here acting away. I got, you know,
you drop names? You want to give us a few names?
That's cool. We don't have to do that.
Maybe if I play a song, or you might.
hands up, hands down.
We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that.
Because this is my friend. Like, this is my friend. So I know someone. That's what you know what I mean?
Just know that ladies love cool Lecrae. That's what you need to know.
Hey, just know they've never been featured on any of my projects. That's all I tell you.
LL Cool Crae.
LL Cool Crae.
LL Cool Crae.
Practicing, teacher said quit rapping, man. That gon' hurt my average. I said, thank God I ain't average. Yeah, I'm a bright young man. Kill the GPA.
Man, coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Hey, man, that record took off. So, man.
Shout out to social media.
Social media.
Shout out to social media. And shout out to Colombia for not taking a chance on that record. Sorry, y'all.
So Colombia had this song and
Didn't touch it. Didn't touch it. I was like, yo, man, we got this record. I feel like it was like, but see, I get it because at the time they were thinking only through the lens of radio format. And it's like, that's not a radio formatted song. It doesn't fit urban. It doesn't fit, you know, rhythmic exactly. It's like people didn't know what to do with that record. So it's like, hey.
Well, it looks like 1 million plus people did because it's platinum.
All right.
Yeah. So, well, there's that.
We want to pick your brain a little bit more because we sound crazy. One thing about what we do here is we play a couple games just to make sure that we're getting your side, your take on things. So we have a game here called Keep or Kill.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I think you know the game, but we'll throw out two options. You decide which one you want to keep, which one's got to go for.
All right.
Got to go.
Gotta go.
So, who wants to start? You want to throw one out?
WuTang Clan or Tribe Called Quest?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. That's rough.
That's rough, bro.
I'm gonna go with the Wu. So I'm going with the WuTang only because I think you know, they branched out in some unique way. I think Tribe definitely has a lot of kids and influenced everybody for sure. I mean, it's not really a good argument. It's just the argument that I have. Right. It's just that, you know, Wu branched out and gave people a whole bunch of other artists that, you know, we wouldn't be watching CSI without Method Man right now or whatever show he's on. But yeah, and it was grimy. That was kind of my style. You know what I mean? I was more like a jock, baggy pants, grimy, gold. I like Wu. I'm going with the Wu.
All right.
Yeah. You should. People should check out that
The show.
The show on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
I've been watching it, man, but some of the Ghostface character, I feel like they could have made him a little more edgy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Raekwon's, he's killing
right on it.
Man.
What you think
killing
about the RZA character?
I don't like it, bro.
You don't like it?
It's just too much. It's like, yo, what's going on, everybody? Yo, my man. All right. Yo. We need you in the studio, God. I'm the Abbott. It don't be working for me, man. I don't know. It's just too much.
It's crazy because RZA is actually a part of the process, so
Yeah.
I guess that's how
He chose that person, I guess.
He cast him.
That's how he see himself.
Yeah, I guess how he see
Yeah,
himself.
it's just, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me, but I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so Def for Bad Boy.
Bad boy. Not even a question.
He didn't even
That's
think
not
twice
even,
about
that's,
that.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What you tell me what's
This is
so
a Southern guy saying bad
you're
boy,
right,
you know
but
what I'm
you
saying?
I want you to tell me what So Def has given us besides records. I want you. What artist did So Def give us that is instrumental right now? Come on, 5, 4, 3, 2. That's what I'm talking
We got
about.
Escape.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. What you got?
The Brad. He got Jagged Edge.
I don't want to take nothing.
Bow
from none of-
Weezy.
I don't want to take nothing from none of them.
Bow Weezy.
I'm not taking nothing from none of them. Nothing from none of them. When you talk about Biggie, and then you talk about Mace, and then you gonna give me Bow Wow and Crisscross? That's not a conversation. That's not a
Well,
conversation.
how about this one? Cash Money or Rockefeller / Roc Nation?
Ooh, that's hard too, man.
Woo!
That stings a little bit.
Roc Nation, them billionaire boys over there.
That stings a little
Hey,
bit.
but don't Cash Money, Wayne,
Money,
Drake,
yeah.
Nicki. Yeah, it's a real conversation.
Man, you know what? That's hard, bro. But what I'm doing in my brain is running through the catalog. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm running through the catalog, I think as much as I love Cash Money and everything that they have provided for us, I'm going with Roc, because I think if you said Roc all the way to Roc Nation,
Rockefeller / Roc Nation.
yeah,
to
that's
Cash
too
Money.
much. We don't have the last 3 Super Bowl performances without Roc Nation. I mean, it's
That's a
powerhouse.
perspective.
It's a powerhouse.
You don't have entertainment without Roc Nation. All right.
It's something special. I mean, to me, that's the blueprint. I ain't gonna lie to you. Roc Nation is like, that's a blueprint for what I would like to see my career look like. If I could figure out a way to aggregate the Christian community the way Jay has done it with the hip hop community, and just like, man, that would be crazy. I mean, yeah.
Man, the thing about Roc and Cash Money and Young Money, all the same thing. The thing that makes them so special is that everyone is killer on their own, but they really are team players. And I don't know the back. I'm sure there's always something, but for how it presents in the public is that like when Jay calls, they show up.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? When Wayne calls, they show up. You know what I'm saying? And they all bring their best. And I feel the same way. I would love to just have the super friends like that.
Yeah, I feel like Jay's business acumen is really high. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like Cash Money's like 2 cell phones and Republic Records.
That's literally what it is. And Burning the Attorney. So 3 cell phones in Republic.
I don't know.
Shout out to Stunner.
So it's a different setup, is what you're saying.
It's a different setup.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got let me throw a few more at you. Man, this is gonna be fun. Michael Jackson or Prince?
This is a very unpopular opinion, but I've never really been a massive Prince fan. So I know.
Phil has quit and is leaving the building.
I'm not taking nothing away from the man.
Right.
He was incredibly talented, but the music wasn't for me. I don't know. It just never was. It just wasn't my. It wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing.
This has never come up in all of our discussions, and I'm really disappointed.
MJ, I'm going with MJ. I don't know if MJ did what they said he did, but I'm assuming he didn't do what they said he did, and then it's MJ. Now,
Right.
you know, I can always recant that if some more facts come out down the line. But, you know, I'm not taking nothing away from Prince. The man could dress like none other. The man could make pancakes and play basketball.
Like none of
Listen, I'm not taking nothing away from him. I'm just saying, I just was never, the music was like, I don't know.
Timbaland or Pharrell?
I'm going Pharrell. Pharrell's timeless. Timbaland is a game changer, but I think Pharrell, is he found a way to continue to, create like timeless music. You know what I'm saying? So, and I figured out Pharrell's secret. Pharrell like takes stuff that already existed and then like it's like, oh, y'all forgot about that?
Yeah.
Let me run that back in a new way. And it's like, dang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, he samples in a whole nother, Pharrell's he's the GOAT, man.
R. Kelly or Babyface?
What are we talking about? Why would you bring this up? Do you want me to get canceled again? I've been canceled 7 times already, Phil.
What are we talking about?
I'm just saying, as a writer producer, I mean,
Oh my Lord.
What are we talking about? Okay, I'm gonna. And even if I felt like it was R. Kelly, the answer is Babyface. The answer is always gonna be Babyface. The answer is whoever is against R. Kelly. How about that?
The other person is.
SWV or Escape?
I like Escape was ratchet, and I like the ratchet energy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going with SWV just because the records. I feel like it's kind of wild to go to like Cascade Skating Rink in 2023 and a SWV song come on, and the teenagers know.
Go up, yeah.
It's like, what? How do y'all know this record?
Yeah.
Classic.
It's classic.
Yeah, so that's SWV all day.
I got one for you. Kanye West or Future?
That's a good one.
Dang. That's tough. Man, that's tough. See, I think I'm gonna go with Ye, even though that would be that's tough, and that's because I'm like the oldest millennial in a lot of spaces, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I can experience the Gen X Kanye and the millennial Kanye, but I can experience all of what Future has contributed. Whereas like I feel like my Gen X community don't really care about Future. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I see his contribution, but I'm gonna go with Ye just because I know. I really don't feel like I would be where I'm at if it wasn't for Ye in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Like he made it.
I feel like he's been one of the biggest hip hop game changers in the. I mean, listen, he's controversial. He's rock and roll and controversial in all the ways.
Yeah.
But musically, man,
Nah, he's a genius.
changed the game.
Genius. Make some noise, Lecrae. Keep it kill.
He's a genius.
That's good.
I'm glad that wasn't a shot game, boy.
Yeah, you have been done so.
Man, that was rough.
We sound crazy.
So we got a game here, We Sound Crazy, called Word Association.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna pass the mic to my brother Chuck Harmony, who's going to tee it up, man. Word Association. Chuck, what is it? They basically say the first thing that comes to mind.
I say a word or a name, and then the first thing that come to mind.
Okay.
Tori Kelly.
Sweetheart, incredible singer. You know what I mean? The black girls love her.
Church clothes for.
One of my magnum opuses. You know what I'm saying? It's a grown man music, baby. Yeah.
Black church.
Still necessary, overlooked. People don't realize what the black church has done for, centuries. I mean, we wouldn't have made it through slavery without the black church. You know what I'm saying? So,
True. Atlanta, GA.
The Mecca. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where else do you want to be if you black in America? That's like, that's no greater place in my mind. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like music, business. I mean, my orthodontist is black, man. Come on, what we talking about, man? It's like, it's the Mecca.
For the record, I do have a black orthodontist and dentist here, in Nashville.
In white Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure you worked very hard to find them.
Easy.
Okay. All right.
Eddie George. Shout out to Eddie George.
Shout out to Eddie George.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. That's okay.
Got the hook up here.
Yeah.
Tennessee State University.
TSU, man, that's like, hope you disciplined if you want to graduate. Yes. Hope you disciplined. Just lots of fun, just lots of parties, lots of I don't know, man. Just, be safe. And,
be safe. Be safe. I got one. Social media.
necessary and dangerous. You know, it's a necessary danger. Like, it's like having a gun in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You need it, but be careful. You know what I mean? So
you need it, but be careful.
Yeah,
that's the best definition of social media.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, man.
You need it, but be careful.
I gotta remind myself of that.
Me too.
As I open up my phone to tweet, because sometimes I get them Twitter fingers.
You
know what I mean?
get aggressive.
You get them trolls be. You know what I mean? Like,
you need it, but be careful, Phil.
Nah, don't do that. You need to keep your jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Keep your jobs.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't get canceled 7 times.
Boy, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
Lecrae, the author.
I felt more depth. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can say in a song. But in a book, you can really, like, put it all out there. You know what I mean?
I got one of them with me today.
Yeah, Restoration.
Yeah.
You dig? So, but they're hard to do. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna get a book from me every year.
Back off. Give me some time to write.
Yeah, you feel
Live
me?
and then write.
Yeah, feel me?
Last one, hip hop.
I mean, it's my culture, man. It's how I see the world. You know, the lens that I see the world through. You know, it's why Allen Iverson was my favorite player. It's why you gonna find Virginia and everything.
I'm just
He gonna ride with VA.
Yeah, that's cool though. Yeah,
good.
but yeah, hip hop is why I am the way that I am. It's why I'm like, it's why it just is. It defines me in so many ways.
I'm sorry, I lied. One more bonus one, all right?
Okay.
Yeah. God.
Oh, the foundation. God is my reason for being. You know what I'm saying? So, other than that, if it wasn't for God, I'm just a cosmic accident. I'm just a bunch of random cells and molecules. There's no purpose. There's no point. Why? I'm just existing. But you know, like, that's why I have purpose, man. Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
We sound crazy.
The Esther Roll
Award.
Yeah.
I can feel him moving, moving, moving. I can feel him moving, 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 moving on the altar of my heart. Every now and then.
The Lord is my shepherd.
See how he's bopping hard to that?
Yeah.
What is that?
See?
That is actually Esther Roll. I Can Feel Her Moving. Esther Roll, the actress, the singer.
Come on, man.
She released the album in 1975 called Garden of My Mind on Savoy Records.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that a sample waiting to happen?
We've been saying that forever. It's a crazy sample.
So Crae, here at the We Sound Crazy podcast, we have the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
Yes, otherwise known as the Irby. And because of that song on that album, we decided to create an award that was honoring black entertainers, past, present, and future, that don't get all the love they deserve. There's a handful that get awarded. I won't say over awarded, but a lot of people, I think need to get more love. Get their flowers now. So we nominate someone. Everyone nominates. We vote. We choose, and then we give our Irby to someone every week. So now that you're part of the crew, you're part of the voting system.
Okay.
I'll kick it off. I got a nomination.
Kick it off.
His brother, we were listening to him before the cameras went live, and man, he's done so much for hip hop, but just art and music videos, and man, it's Busta Rhymes. My nomination this week. Busta. Shout out to Busta.
Busta.
That's a good one.
That's a great one.
Who you got, Claude?
This is not hip hop, but it's someone we were talking about yesterday. Chuck and I were at Grand Ole Opry yesterday, and we were talking about this, and I was like, yo, Barry White was a G. And I was telling Chuck that I got introduced to him with, like, in them slow. What's the song? What's the song from the night?
Practice What You Preach.
Yeah, and I wasn't a fan of that song, so I had to go do my homework. But him as the orchestra, it was heavily sampled. But
even Benjamin's, all about the Benjamins.
That's what I'm saying.
Love
Like,
Unlimited.
it's like I don't think we realized how much of a master musician he was. And how much of a leader he was in terms of building a sound for black music. So I'm nominating Barry White.
Who you got, Lecrae?
I feel like, in terms of like, don't get appreciated as much as they should, but like had a heavy contribution. I think that the hip hop community once upon a time thought he was great, but I don't know if DJ Premier gets his flowers like he should. So,
That's good.
That's
yeah.
DJ Premier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who got Chuck?
I was going to nominate a group of producers too, the Hitmen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is gonna be a hard
They did everything.
vote right
They
here.
did everything.
They did everything.
And I think
Yikes.
they stood behind Puff in such a way that they don't get their flowers, but they deserve
As
it.
a collective,
Because
too.
they changed, like when you were talking about hip hop and what that meant to you and how you were so influenced by it, they were a part of that.
Yeah.
You know, those guys was creating the soundtracks for that. So
Shoot, they didn't get their
Benjamin's
flowers.
Barry White. You put the whole
Eric
thing together.
Angeletti, Ron Lawrence, Stevie J, Chucky
all them.
Thompson.
Yeah.
They didn't get their flowers or they published it.
They got nothing.
Allegedly. So just to recap, Busta Rhymes, Barry White, DJ Premier, and the Hitmen. So now we take it to a vote. You can vote multiple times, more than once on this first round. And if we come to a tie, we'll
take
do
it
a
from there.
tiebreaker.
Yeah.
All right, Busta Rhymes.
gotta go.
How you gonna say no to Busta? That's my first concert.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Busta's nuts.
Barry White.
I ain't voting for Barry White. I'm sorry.
He said, there's 3 for B-Dubs.
I only know one Barry White song, probably.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
DJ Premier. The Hitmen.
All right, so it's a tie between Hitman and Busta, which is...
Sorry, Hitman, next time.
Maybe next time. So we vote. This time you can only vote once.
Oh, man.
It's only vote once.
Chuck already apologized.
Sorry in advance.
Yikes.
All right, so we're going to go, it's between Busta Rhymes and the Hitmen. So
All right.
we'll start off with Busta Rhymes.
Sorry, Hitman.
Sorry, Hitman.
Like I said.
Y'all my friends still. I just don't. Yeah,
Put your hands on my eyes.
can see. Come on, man.
What are we talking about?
I mean, it's so deserving, all right?
Man, congratulations, Busta Rhymes. You are this week's winner of the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Man, it's been a pleasure having you here.
That's been great, man.
Now that you know
It's a vibe.
where the hideout's at, come
Yeah.
back to the podcast. Come keep us posted on what's going on with you, but just come talk.
Yeah, for sure, man. I sent my location to a few people today just to make sure I was safe, but now I know I'm
Now
good.
you know you're safe.
Yeah.
You can come back, right?
Yeah,
to,
for
to
sure.
the hideaway.
It's a hideaway out here. We like it like that.
Yeah. It's not for everybody.
Hey, man, it's all good. You could get killed or you can have a great time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just depends.
You never know.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy on everywhere. Also, WeSoundCrazy.com. And shout out to Visit Music City. So if you're in Nashville, visit Music City.
Absolutely. So, how we end this normally is that we ask our esteemed guests to pick a song that you feel like we should go out with that encapsulates the conversation and the mood. So, the sky's the limit here. Featuring 112.
I'm gonna go with oldie but goodie. I don't know if it's a goodie, but I'm just thinking of the conversation in I Used to Love Her by Common. Comes to mind. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great one.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Man, thank you, Lecrae. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
We're going to close it out. Common. Until next week, y'all. We Sound Crazy. We out of here.
Peace.
Yes, y'all, if you don't stop to the beat, y'all, if you don't stop. Yes, y'all, if you don't stop.